Okay, everyone, I want to thank you for being here. We are in the Kukakuka TalkStory, and tonight we're talking about the spirit realm, and we're talking about beyond the veil. Now, I'd like to clarify that phrase, beyond the veil, for everyone, for all of you. And that clarification is that in our culture and in our understanding, in the way of life and the way of thinking of our ancestors, there is no veil. Okay. The veil is not something that exists in the thinking and in the understanding of our ancestors. And so this is a component about the realm of our ancestors, the realm of spirit that I'm inspired to speak about today, and to share and to explore with all of you, as well as some of the components of the realm of spirit as a whole. So I'd like to begin in the place of origin of our ancestors, and that place of origin is Po. Some of you may have heard of myself or Kumu Lawrence, or Kumu Pa Catherine, who's also joined us here this evening, talking about Po. And Po is the place of origin, and you know that is a whole discussion all of its own. Okay, but I want to bring it forward, and it's important for me to tap on it and to touch on it here and now, so that we can begin to build an understanding of the realm of spirit that we're talking about, that we're exploring from that of our Hawaiian ancestors. So Po, once again, is this place of origin. It's very active. There's lots happening there, and it's the place from which all things are born. Yeah. So again, very much the same way that there's no concept of a veil in our culture and in our ancestral understanding, there is also no concept of creation, right? So from Po, from darkness, all things are born. And this, again, it begins to establish and to set up the way of thinking and the way of living of our ancient ancestors. Yeah, it speaks to the understanding of the there wasn't a need for a concept of a veil, particularly when you are coming from the understanding of birth. Right. So in birth, we find connection and continual connection. Connection with our family, our loved ones here in the physical realm that we're born into and born a part of. But also when we are talking about our relationships, we're sharing our relationship to, for example, the wind, or the trees, or the star, or the sun, or the moon. These are all ohana to us. These are all also our ancestors. So with the integration and being able to come into this kind of a space and time, yeah, this current modern day, right? All of these layers, yeah, create the comprise is probably a better word, comprise the entirety of the understanding of the realm of spirit that we're talking about. In comparison to today, where many a times the concept of spirit is something that's very distant, or it is something that is outside oneself, or it's something that's over there, right? And that wasn't so in the origin thinkings, in the origin understandings of our ancestors. right? They're very much here. They're very much a part of our daily life. We are acknowledging the spirit of our ancestors in the wind that we feel, in the light of sun. And there's a variety of lights of sun, right? There's the dawning, there's the setting, there's the red hue, there's the blue hue, there is a purple hue. These are all in the Hawaiian understanding, in the ancestral understanding, right? These are all very distinct, yeah, and very intimate relationships that we have, and they represent the myriad of ancestors and ancestral spirits that are constantly around us, that we are communicating with, that we are engaging with, and that we are continuing to honor and respect and pray to, right? That they are very much present with us, and we're interacting and we're engaging, we're speaking, communicating with them continually, right? And more importantly, on the flip side of that, if we take ourselves out of the equation, they are continuing to communicate, engage, and interact with us, right? So if we have the ability to turn, our awareness around completely, where it's not about us communicating to them, but more about us being able to understand what they're communicating to us, right? And many a times it's particularly today, what we come across a lot of when we're doing the cultural practices and the healing practices of our ancestors with others, it becomes very apparent that there's very much a distance and a separation in the way of, not just in the way of thinking, but literally in the physical world, right? Meaning there are many family dynamics and situations that we engage in through Ho'oponopono, for example, where an individual hasn't spoken or doesn't have a very close relationship with their mother or their father or sometimes any of their immediate physical family, right? So it doesn't surprise us with that understanding, and with and looking at the state of things today. It's not surprising that when we're dealing with an individual that has a separation within their own family, that they begin to question also the existence of the spirit of their ancestors in their lives. And it does many different things, for people. For some, it inspires them to seek that relationship and to understand it and to nurture it. And for some people, it doesn't. For some people, it becomes just a standard. It's okay, So when we're talking about the realm of spirit, and when we are communicating or engaging with them, I can give you an example. Right. Who would like to engage with me in this example? There's a bit of some trust, but I've known some of you for a bit. So is anybody willing to go?
I don't mind. I'm happy to. Vanessa, I'm happy to.
All right. Hello, Kara. Oh, Kara, it's so good to see you.
Hi.
Thank you for being here. And it's good to put, an active, engaging image to the voice. It's very nice. So everyone knows, Kara and I met one another on Clubhouse in one of, I can't remember which room it was, but it was one of them. And actually,
Ho'opono first. I think it's your first Ho'opono one. I think.
okay, you
a couple of
did.
months ago.
Was
Yeah.
it the first one, the very first, the
I think-
7-part series?
Have you done? Yeah, I think so. Because you've done 3. If you've done 3, it's the first one.
Yeah.
It's the very
It was
first.
the very
I
first
did 1 and 2 with you, and I've done a few. I sort of caught a bit of the third one, but yes. So yeah, it's
Okay, well, and here's
been a
here's
journey.
a connection. Here's one of the deeper layers of connection that you and I share. You have the same name as my sister, and spelt the same, right? Not with the K, with the C.
Yes,
And so
that's unusual.
yeah, it is. It is unusual, and so that was an immediate an immediate layer of connection for me with you. So, okay, well, thank you. All right, so here's how simple. Yeah.
I just want to quickly warn everybody that my 2-year-old's supposed to be sleeping, but she's shrieking in the background. So if you hear lots of noises, I can't do much about it, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's all good. Hey, it's all good. We understand family. Okay, so and this is just an example, everyone, of how simple, how easy. I'll keep it with simple. I'll keep it with how simple it is to engage, with the spirit of our ancestors. So, Kara, I'd like to start with your parents. Are your parents alive?
Yes.
Okay. What is your mother's name?
Lynn.
Okay. And what is the name of your father?
Mick.
Right. And now we're going to move back a generation to your grandparents. Are any of your grandparent generation alive?
No.
No. Okay. What are the names of your grandparents?
So my mum's mum was called, her name was Irene, but she was usually called Reenie, or Nanny Phillips to me. So I never met my granddad on that side, but he was Bryn, I think. Bryn, yeah. And then my dad's side, she was Gwyn. And then my granddad on that side was Bill.
Mahalo. Thank you so much. Well, that is a perfect, beautiful example, of what I mean when we talk and we share about the level of intimacy that on an ancestral level that we have with the spirit realm. And that's as simple as it takes. Literally just asking, just speaking their names. And they immediately brings them forward, right? In the memory, in the story that Kara shared, right? Even in just the remembrance of the name. So that's the simplicity, that's the power too that our ancestors are sharing with us in regards to the spoken word, right? So it's that simple. Mahalo, Kara. Thank you so much. Yeah, well, beautiful for you to do that with me. Thanks. Thanks for doing that. So it's that easy. I mean, it's that simple. And it's that direct. It just in speaking their names, it brings the spirit of that answer, the spirit of that family member, close, immediately, directly there, in the physicality, in the thinking, in the mental realm, and in the spiritual realm. Immediately, and they respond just as we respond. When somebody calls us by our name, we're responding, right? So it's no different here in the physical realm than it is over there in the spirit realm. And once again, because of the way that our ancestors knew and understood things to how they came to be in this universe for us, right? That connection that we speak of is so immediate, it's so direct, yeah, and so simple, yeah. Now, our ancestors have, when we speak of the realm of spirit, there are many different levels, yeah, of the realm of spirit. Just as we have many different levels here in the physical realm. And each of those levels, each of the levels in this physical realm and in the spiritual realm, I'll stick to the spiritual realm, yeah, has the ability of becoming becoming a realm all of its own, yeah, with hundreds, if not thousands, of sublevels within that realm. And this is another means in which our ancestors were assisting us in understanding that everyone and everything has its place. Yeah. And with all of the realms and the levels and the hundreds of the thousands and the quadrillions, yeah, that we speak of, the human mind cannot fathom that, right? The human mind, the physical being, the physical beingness of the human experience cannot fully understand that. It's not meant to. Yeah. Here's the other point about the spiritual realm and where I'm talking about right now. Yeah. It's not meant to. We have a very powerful saying in our direct lineage, yeah, from Lawrence himself, yeah. Knowing is having no need to know. That phrase, those words come from the hundreds of thousands of levels and realms that are out there. When we talk about aloha, for example, the spirit of aloha, when we talk about it as in love and unconditional love, yeah, that's very capturing. Yeah, and it's the essence, it's the spirit of that word. Yeah, the spirit of that word. Yeah. So the word itself is the physical, yeah, but its essence, its spirit is that love, which is unconditional. Yeah. So again, talking about the spirit realm, yeah, and stepping beyond the veil, which again, there is no veil. So, we set that in speaking about realms and levels and the multitudes and the hundreds of thousands, yeah, that is put into place, set into place to bring the mind to a stop. Yeah. Because it cannot fathom the hundreds of thousands of levels and realms and sub-realms and sub-levels. Yeah. So stop the mind, right? You bring the mind to a full stop so that you can engage with what's even more significant in the Hawaiian culture, yeah, and in our heritage and lineage, yeah, and that's the spirit. Everyone say hello to Kara's daughter. Woo! Kara's baby. Woo! Awesome. All right. Yes. So that realm of spirit, once again, yeah, is much closer than many people today are aware of. It's right here. Yeah, it's right now. It's and it's in constant communication with us. Oh, want to mahalo you for allowing me to give that share. I want to thank Kara once again for engaging in that example of the simplicity of moving from the physical realm into the spiritual realm. And all of us got to witness and do that. Yeah. Move from the physical realm into the spiritual realm through our words. So mahalo. And I want to open it up. Yes. Yes, Amanda. Okay, I just saw here. Mandy, yes, aloha. You've raised your hand. You have something that you'd like to share, contribute? No? Okay, was it an accident? All right, it was an accident. Okay, mahalo. Does anybody have any question or contribution? Yes, Kara.
I always do. There's always something to say. I'm actually really interested. I've been trying to learn lately, delving a bit more into what the spiritual realm is actually like. I've had a couple of stories of people with near-death experiences that have gone off down black holes and they've met God and all sorts of things. Because I used to sort of see it at, you know, that kind of traditional religious way of your, you know, this life or that life, and that's it. But I'm starting to, the more and more I speak to spiritual people and learn about this, the more I James, can you just take away a minute? Sorry. All right, come and sit with me because Mummy's talking. Okay. Sorry about this. She wants to play with the headphones. Right. Okay. So right. My question is, because it seems like the actual spiritual realm is very big and vast, and there's just and there's people seem to have different experiences of it and different thoughts about it. So I'm wondering, and for example, I think you guys have said before that you don't believe in reincarnation. Is that right?
That's right.
Whereas I've actually been taken back to past lives, and I've had done quite a lot of spiritual work linked to my past lives, which has actually helped me. So I'm actually beginning to wonder if no, baby, no, darling, because Mummy's talking. Okay, James, can you just take her out, please? Puzzle. Oh God, I'm sorry about this. I'm going to go in another room. Right. I'm sorry. I'm just disrupting everybody. Oh, right. I'm going to go in another room. So, right. So I'm beginning to wonder if actually people's experiences in the afterlife is different. Do you know what I mean? Like perhaps there isn't just we all go to one place. You know, perhaps we actually all come from different places. And so I suppose I'm just exploring. Obviously, it's quite a big subject, but I'm exploring what is after. I know obviously our ancestors are there and that sort of thing, and I've also heard that there's also a bit of a world that's in between where sometimes souls go and hover around in like a middle world before they move on and that sort of thing. So I just wondered, have you got any more in-depth insight into? Because I feel like maybe the Hawaiian lineage is really quite specific. So I wondered if perhaps you all come from a slightly different realm to someone who's a Catholic. It's just an example. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So sorry, that's a bit long-winded, but I hope you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And look, again, this is why I spoke about realms and levels of realms. Yeah. You're correct in your sharing of the vastness of it, right? It's also important that I bring forward for everyone, yeah, that I also spoke about the place of our origin, yeah, which is Po. Po is also the realm of our ancestors. It's the realm that we return to, yeah, when we're no longer here in the physical realm, yeah, in life. So we're born from pole, we're born from this place of origin into life, and we return to pole, yeah, the place of origin after our passing, on and in the level of the spirit of our ancestors. Yeah. There are multiple, many thousands of levels of pole, yeah, of the realm of our ancestors. We chant them to all of you. I chant them continuously, right? E nakua ke aumakua ke poekaiko. I'm in that chant that I'm continually doing. I'm identifying 3 levels, yeah, right off the bat, of spirit that I'm engaging with, yeah, that I am calling out to, that I'm praying to, that I'm seeking for guidance and assistance and protection, yeah, many times, yeah, really, basically, before I do everything, yeah, before I get on and do a talk, before I go on to Clubhouse, before I eat a meal, before I, I'm doing that. Particularly when it comes to sharing the knowledge and wisdom of our ancestors, I'm continually utilizing that chant to identify, yeah, for everyone that's listening, who I'm engaging with and who I'm seeking, yeah, the presence of. So, and there's many different levels of this ancestral realm, yeah, in the realm of spirit of our ancestors. And I would like to speak on the understanding of past lives and reincarnation. Yeah, it's not that we don't believe in it. It's that we have a very different understanding about those 2 words. Yeah. For example, yeah, when we have a child, right, and it's very clearly, right, has very similar spiritual qualities and characteristics of the grandfather or the great-grandfather or the great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. Sometimes we'll name that child after that great-great-great-grandfather, because we see the resemblance, we see the connection, we see the qualities of spirit that the child holds. And there's a sacred naming process, right? So, for example, that child may be given the full name of that ancestor. But we may come to find, yeah, as the child grows and develops, that maybe the weight, yeah, of that name is too heavy for the child, right? So maybe we tailor that name, yeah. Maybe it becomes, for example, the eyes of great-great-great-great-grandfather, right? Instead of great-great-grandfather. You get what I mean? So this is, and when we're talking about past lives, for example, when I'm talking about my life, when I was 5 years old, that's another layer of understanding for us, yeah, on an ancestral level of my life in the past. That's my past life, right? So it doesn't always have to mean that you and your fullness of presence and being existed, yeah, at another time. And here's another part of the understanding about past lives, right? We are all ohana. Yeah? We are all family. Yeah? And we share history. Yeah? So, for example, when someone speaks about their experience in life, yeah, we are capable of seeing, understanding, relating, yeah, to that life, knowing that we're born from that source, and everyone and everything was born from that source. So it's not to say what I'm attempting to do is to round out, yeah, the share, yeah, of the differences that we have in our direct lineage and culture of past lives and reincarnation, in comparison to some of the really the either the more modern or the more prevalent ways of understanding and conceptualizing past lives and reincarnation today. Yeah. And what I'd also like to share is that it does not take a lot of research or homework to go back and discover where these words came from, yeah, and the cultures that they came from. Yeah. And what you'll also, just a little highlight for everyone, right? Speaking of the realm of spirit, indigenous cultures have very, very, very similar understandings. And we're all indigenous somewhere down the line. Right? So, and that's where I'll leave that one, right? Really take an opportunity to go and to research and to find the source, yeah, the absolute source of those concepts, yeah, because most people only engage with the surface of those concepts. Most people only engage with it to the point of, I was an Amazon priestess in another life, and it goes much, much, much deeper than that. Yeah. Mahalo. Any other questions? Yeah, Kara, did you have something?
Oh, I just wanted to say mahalo, and actually, because I'm really trying to learn about spirituality at the moment, and I've got to, because I've never identified with one particular thing. I'm sort of, speaking to lots of different people, and I'm really enjoying. And the more I delve into it, actually, the closer it's all coming together, and actually the more similar it's becoming. Because what's really exciting is I've been spending a bit of time with a guy that does a lot of shamanic work, and he basically said the same as you, because somebody's done some energy work with me recently. I apologize if this is off topic, but I just found it really interesting, is that someone's done some energy release work. So they've actually helped to release some like sort of emotions that have been really troubling me for a while, and they've just sort of done some tapped in, done some energy release work with me, and I've done a few sessions with her, and I just feel so much better and lighter. And we didn't actually delve into it particularly, but we went back to past lives and went back to the source, but it was energy work rather than actually going back to that life, you know what I mean? But and this shamanic guy was because I was saying about these past lives that I've also been led from another spiritual guidance person a while back. She actually found some past lives and described some things that happened to me. But what he was saying, like you, is that it can be the energy of our ancestors. So like one life I was supposed to have died in like a fire, for example, and another one I had actually had an abusive partner. And it's interesting because a lot of the patterns from some of these past lives have been carried out the same pattern in this life. I've had the same pattern because it hasn't been cleared. And I've been working on clearing these patterns and clearing that energy. and it has to go back to right back to source. But yeah, what's interesting is this concept now, like you and the shamanic guy saying that actually it might not have been actually us that lived the past life, it's actually our ancestors, and it comes up the ancestral line because we're all connected. So I'm just, I still don't, obviously, it's such a big subject to fully understand, but I feel like I'm getting, it's just getting really exciting. It's like, it's really starting to make sense. And what you said is like, yes, this really sort of starting to fall into place a little bit, so thank you so much. Thanks.
Yeah. Something I've been saying a lot, and then we'll move on. Something that I found myself sharing a lot the last 3 or 4 years really is that, and I'll share it the way I've been sharing it. As traditionalists, as culturalists, right? Practitioners and healers from our lineage, right? For us, it's really simple. Kara, and to everyone else, that's present, that's here, that's listening about this point in the conversation and the sharing. And I'm going to share this with, I always do, but I'll preempt it. I share this with absolute love. Absolute unconditional love. Aloha all the way. But for us, don't come to us talking about your past life as a Native American high chief or medicine man or medicine woman, and you're not putting food on the table for your family in this life, right? Don't come to us talking about how you are some Lemurian high telepath in another life, but you're beating your spouse, right? That doesn't make any sense to us as cultural practitioners, as traditionalists, just regular human beings, okay? Never take the culturalist, take the practitioner, take all that stuff away. Just as a regular human being, right? It doesn't make any sense, right? So there's got to be a correlation. There's got to be an understanding. There's got to be and if that's what you choose to believe in, right? We love you and we're supporting you and it's all good. But allow that to, if that's the archetype, right? If that's the icon, if that's the symbol, if that's the message or the vision that's coming through, then allow it to come through. So do it. And the other way around as well. If you go into some past life work and you end up finding some not so good things, because there's a lot of not so good things in all of our past and all of our histories, that we need to pay attention to and be aware of. Kailita, I see you. So when you start going in and doing some past life work like that, and you start finding those stories out, same thing. Bring it all the way through. Bring the lesson through. If you are a high level medicine woman, bring it all the way through. Demonstrate the power and the symbol and the essence of that past life that you choose to believe in, into your life. And also, if you find something that's really heavy back there that you learned from, that is a lesson, that's a teaching, same thing. Bring it all the way through. Don't repeat the mistakes of the past, if that's what you happen to become enlightened to, when we step into that kind of work. So, mahalo. Okay, anywhere else? Where are we going? Yes, okay, I see Gerlinda. Gerlindi, you raised your hand. Where are you?
Yes, yes, I'm here. Hi.
Aloha.
Mahalo. Yes, aloha. Thank you for this explanation about the reincarnation. This was really, really interesting for me, and also one more stone in the puzzle, I would say. Thank you for that. I would love to ask something about the names of the ancestors, which was also super interesting. For example, if we have a person who is an orphan, so who or the person just doesn't know anything about their parents or grandparents or grandparents. So what can these people do? It's not about me. I have another question about later on, but it's more an interest. What can these people do when they have absolutely no names and they cannot find it by information or something? Of course, they can connect with the sun and the moon and the stars and the wind and the earth and everything. That's clear.
Yep.
And but no, there are no names. So there must be a kind of lack or hole, or I don't know. Mm-hmm. How do you speak with this kind of people? I'm interested in hearing that about that.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. First, what you've inspired me to share about to begin. This is a really important discussion question, and so I appreciate you, Gerlinde, for bringing it forward. Yeah. Okay, let's begin. So in our ancient culture, there was no such thing as an unwanted child. Yeah. In fact, children were so plenty. Children were so plentiful, right? That if you had a sister that didn't have any children, or you had a sister that maybe had 2 and you had 7 children, 7 or 8 children, or 15 or 20, then child 16 or 17, mom would be very much like, hey, look, sister, here, take this baby, have this baby, So, and the other way around, right? So if a mother or a father, right, mother or a father, said, hey, look, you got 18 kids, or you got 7, or you know what I mean, you got 8. I want this child. Yeah, I want this child. Yeah. If you heard that coming, then you would give the child. There was no ownership like that. Yeah. So that's where I'd like to begin with this concept of orphan, right? So, because that is how really all of what I've just shared with you right there, that's the basis. That is the base ground that we operate from when we're working with people where that's very much a part of their circumstance and their reality, right? That sets the framework. Yeah, what I've just shared. There's no such thing. Yeah. There's no such thing. And as an orphan, as an orphan child. Now, bringing an individual that's experienced that term, that label, that understanding, in their current life, in their circumstances. Now we can begin to develop a plan, a process to bring them out of the level of separation that that many of that many of them are faced with like that. Yeah. So here's some other layers about that. Two more layers actually that I'm inspired to speak of. One, love the family that you're with. Yep. Love the people that come into your life. Yeah, love the people that come into your life that take those places, that take those positions. Yeah. Again, coming from a culture where no child was orphaned and everybody was mom and dad, right? Today, yeah, it's very different. Today, what you'll hear, however, though, and this is a translation of it today, yeah, everyone is auntie or uncle, right? Everyone, right? So you're addressing anybody that's a generation above you. It's, oh, hello, auntie, and you're in the grocery store, right? Not related by blood or genetics, but hey, auntie, how can I help you? How can I assist you? What's uncle? Yeah. So that's a translation of it today. Yeah. But like I said, old school days, everybody was mom and dad. Yeah. Everybody was, family, and everyone engaged, right? So that's another inspiration. And then I would just want to go back to, particularly when you have people that care and love for you, right? No matter what. So, and many times it's about reconciling the unknown with the known. So you may not know who your biological parents are. Yeah. You may not have any kind of connection to them. And there are many stories of that, right? War, genocide, the list goes on of things that have brought orphan children into the world. Yeah. Into concept and understanding. So for those that are dealing with that, yeah, you may not know who they are, yeah, up here, but you know who they are down here, yeah, in the deep part inside. Yeah. And if there's still a question about that, yeah, then stop. Then we suggest stop thinking about what you do and don't know, and instead realize, yeah, that our ancestors know who we are. Sometimes we have to go all the way that way. Yeah. No connection to mom and dad, no connection to any kind of family. Okay. Yeah, we understand. But you're not lost. Yeah, you're not lost. You're here. So you may not know who they are, but they damn sure know who you are. Yeah. So there's that part too. And again, I want to tap into in the physical, right? In the physical realm. Whoever becomes your mother or becomes your father, yeah, that's who it is. Yeah. And yeah. Mahalo. Mahalo for asking that.
Mahalo. This is really very deep, deep
Yeah.
resonance. I cannot explain it, but there's nothing to explain. Thank you very much for this explanation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Galindi. Mahalo.
So,
Okay.
Kawika, can I just make a comment? Sorry,
Yep.
what you've just said, it sort of takes us back to the beginning of what you were talking about, you know, the ancestors and in this realm that are surrounding us, you know. So it's just like you're saying at the beginning, you know, tuning into what's actually here with us and what's interacting with us, whether it's people or, you know, the natural world, because it's all communicating. And you can overlook that and feel alone or lost. But when we come back to what you've just said, the vastness of that and the depth of that, then we're not alone, and it's nothing's out of place.
Yeah. Exactly. You know, and beginning, you know, as we begin to really draw and pull all of these understandings together, right? We can move from this, from where we just left off with the question from Galindi about, you know, orphan and no family connection, and we can tie it into what Joe just brought forward again to the another layer of realization of, you know, we're never alone. And it all begins to not blend, but it becomes a tangible substance, of tangible fabric of knowing. Yeah, of knowing. And what incredible places to explore. And, you know, I'm just inspired to say I'm so fortunate. Thank you so much for bringing it together, bringing everything together like that. So mahalo you all deeply for that. Do we have any more questions or contributions that you would like to make?
I was just going to ask you, I don't know if it's just a sort of a coincidental thing, but so my parents aren't spiritual at all, the slightest, and they don't kind of get it at all. So I don't really discuss it with them. But my nan was obviously very spiritual, but she didn't know. We didn't have anyone to help us, so we used to discuss life after death, and she used to try to contact her mum, but she used to say to me all the time, you know, if I can contact you, I will. You know, we used to talk about it a lot, and I now do. Now she's passed, I do have an amazing connection with her. It's just the most magical thing that we discussed it in this life, that she would try and contact me, you know, and but neither of us knew about spirituality or had anyone to go to, so we didn't have anyone to help us with it, but we just discussed it, you know. It's so magical. But I've since come across a few people who it skipped a generation, so their parents just aren't really connected, but they're connected to a grandparent. And the only theory I can come up with is possibly that the reason for it is because when the grandparent passes, they then can support you for the rest of your life, sort of thing. So you get both, the best of both worlds. You get a human connection that then passes to then support you for the rest of your life. And in fact, I'm getting major goosebumps while I'm saying this, so I must be onto something. So I just wonder what your thoughts were on that.
Right. Okay, so my thoughts on that is understanding the family dynamic, right? the family dynamic we understand in many different ways, but there's a place, yeah, there's a place for every generation of family, right? So, and I guess just to get real direct with your share, Kara, is that our kapunas, our elders, they hold that space for us in our families. Yeah. When actually in an ancient time, in an older time, when you were born, you were raised by your grandparents. Yeah. Why? Because your parents, the Makua generation, was working, right? They were in the fields, clearing the taro, clearing the land, gathering the food, doing that, right? So you were, as a child, with your grandparents and learning from them and being in their presence, and all of their knowledge and wisdom was being passed to their grandchild generation. Yeah. But this was happening from one generation to the next. This was a continual family dynamic. This was a continual family cycle, right? So all of that knowledge and wisdom continued to be passed down, right? The grandparents had raised the children. Yeah. The children becomes makuas. They have children, and then they end up, yeah, passing on the knowledge that they learned from their grandparents to their grandchildren. Yeah, because they're now grandparents and they're taking care of their grandchildren, because the children that they raised, that they brought forward into the world, had assumed the responsibilities of being a makua. Yeah. So, that's what it was. That is what it is. So that's the contribution that I have to you, yeah, about it. Yeah.
Mahalo, yeah, that's really helpful. Thank you. I think obviously I love that, the Hawaiian way, because you're also aligned and everybody lives that life. So it's just so wonderful. It's taken me a long time. It took me 30 odd years to even start I think I always lived a little bit spiritually from the point of view of just I always follow my intuition quite a lot, but before I actually found spirituality, So I think it's just a wonderful gift when you have that lineage, but I also see I've got a wonderful gift in my nan, who obviously didn't have knowledge in this life but has chosen to stay with me now by my side and support me and help me connect and stuff like that. So I just feel so just honored and just it's just so wonderful. So
yeah.
But yeah, no, thank you so much. That was really good. Thank you.
Yeah. Mahalo. Okay, last questions, last shares, contributions before we wrap this up. Good. All right, Joe, you want something? Joe, I'm looking at you all.
Yes, it's been brilliant. It's fantastic, but all that's been shared by everybody. But yeah, it just comes back to that whole, your ancestors. I mean, that's what the Hawaiians teach us, is connection with our ancestors, and all of them, at your own ancestors, but also the ancestors that are here from nature with us. And it's just so clear. It's just pulled everything, together. And when you accept that you're in the right place at the right time, with all of that, it's very powerful. It's just,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mahalo.
Mahalo.
Actually, if it's okay, I just got one more little thing, if that's all right. I struggled with losing my nan because I was so close to her, and also my dog who passed a few months ago, because we were just like best friends for like 15 years. And I used to just miss them all the time, and I'd quite often, always feel tearful when I thought about them. And what I've started to learn is that, and what I'm learning now is that they're not gone, it's just different. So I can't give them a hug or a kiss, I can't stroke my dog or feel her fur, but they are very much here, and that love is very much alive and very, very strong. And actually, if you so when I've learned that when I think of my nan and I feel a bit tearful, it's because she's around me, but the emotion is actually love. I used to mistake it for sadness, which probably wasn't the very early days, and obviously I do miss her, but actually that emotion that really strongly comes into me when she's around me is actually love. The same with my dog, who comes to me every night and cuddles up, near me. I know she's there. So so I'm really just learning to enjoy my connection with them in a different way. So rather than being lost in feeling sad, embrace the memories, and I'm just learning to enjoy the different connection I have with them now. So I just kind of wanted to share that and say thanks, because you're also helping with that. So
Beautiful. Yeah, mahalo. Mahalo for that. Okay, everyone, we are POW. I want to thank you for joining me here in this Kukakuka. As you all know, it happens every week, Wednesday at this time. And mahalo. Thank you so much for being here. And something I've been saying is this conversation never stops. So, and we have all of these great ways of being in contact and communication with each other. So I'm happy to continue the discussion. It's a discussion that never ends on my end. So we're always talking about it. So if you have questions or you want to continue it, then, get a hold of me in all of these different ways that we have to communicate with each other today, and we can take advantage of all of that. Emails, video chats, set up a Zoom meeting, whatever. Okay. Aloha, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day, or enjoy your evening, and we'll see each other next week. Ahui ho, aloha.
Ahui ho, thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Aloha, ahui ho.
Aloha.
Okay, I'm closing it down in 3, 2, 1. Good night.